Okay, so you know that one person, every friend group has one, who hears a weird noise coming from a car and doesn't even look worried. They just go quiet for a second, like they're receiving a transmission from another dimension, then calmly say, "Yeah, that's your alternator." And somehow they're right? We need to talk about that person. Because what's actually happening in their brain when they do this is way funnier and way more revealing than, oh, they just like cars. And by the end, you're going to look at your uncle, your cousin, your weirdly confident coworker completely differently. Stay with me. This gets good. Here's what nobody tells you. It was never really about the car. It's about the fact that a car is basically the one relationship in a person's life that gives them a straight answer. You can spend 3 hours arguing with your landlord and still not know where you stand. You can text someone, "We good?" and get left on red for 6 days. But a car goes "ver" when it's mad and "hum" when it's happy. And if you fix the thing that's wrong, it just stops being mad. No passive aggression, no mixed signals. Psychologists call this a flow state, where you're so locked into a task that time disappears. But honestly, I think car people just found the one corner of life that isn't lying to them, and they never left. There's also a control thing happening, and it's kind of hilarious once you see it. You cannot fix your boss's attitude. You cannot fix traffic. You cannot fix your family group chat. But a squeaky brake pad has an actual cause and an actual fix, and you can hold the broken part in your hand like a little trophy of victory. This is called locus of control in psychology. Basically, your sense of whether you're driving your own life or just a passenger in it, pun completely intended. And for a lot of people, the garage is the one place they get to feel 100% in the driver's seat. Loosen a bolt, tighten a bolt, done. No committee, no group project where one person does nothing. And can we talk about how genuinely unfair it is watching someone good at this actually work? They'll be mid-sentence complaining about their weekend, and their hand will just casually diagnose a rattle by feeling one vibration. The same way you can tell your best friend is annoyed by exactly one word in a text. That's not a superpower. That's what researchers call embodied cognition. Basically, thousands of hours of practice that got so absorbed into muscle memory, the brain doesn't even need to be invited to the decision anymore. Same energy as a chef who never measures anything and it still comes out perfect. And it's deeply annoying to witness if you're a person who still needs a YouTube tutorial to change a light bulb. There's a personality pattern too, and it's a little funny once you notice it. People who love fixing cars tend to score high on what's called need for cognition, a fancy way of saying they actually enjoy thinking hard about a problem instead of running from it. And they'd rather sit under a dashboard for 4 hours untangling wires than spend 4 minutes in a meeting that could have been an email. Ask any of them why they got into it, and you'll usually get one of two answers. My dad taught me, or I got ripped off once and swore it would never happen again. Which, translated from mechanic to human, means I decided competence was cheaper than trust. Knowing how to fix your own car stops being a hobby at that point. It becomes armor. The difference between being at someone's mercy and calmly saying, "Actually, I got it." There's also something weirdly peaceful about the repetition of it that people underestimate. Turning a wrench, wiping down a part, listening to an engine idle. None of that is stressful. It's rhythmic, almost meditative. Which is probably why so many people say their best thinking happens with their hands busy and their brain half checked out, not sitting still trying to force a thought to arrive on schedule. The garage becomes a thinking space disguised as a workspace, which might be the greatest trick these people have pulled. But the real payoff, the actual reason people keep doing this, even when it's freezing outside and their knuckles are bleeding, is that moment the engine finally turns over and everything just clicks. That's not just relief, that's a legitimate dopamine hit, the same chemical reward your brain gives you for solving a hard puzzle or landing a joke perfectly in front of a crowd. Except this version also comes with a car that now drives, which feels like cheating in the best way. It's proof, actual tangible proof that you took something broken and made it whole again with your own two hands. And in a world where most of your problems just sort of linger unresolved forever, that feeling hits completely different every single time. So next time someone diagnoses your car by sound alone like they're reading tea leaves, don't just think, oh, they're good with cars. Understand you're looking at someone who found one of the only corners of life that actually rewards them for showing up and paying attention. And honestly, that's not a mechanic thing. That's a life hack the rest of us should probably be stealing.